Hello everyone, my name is Xiongkun Linghu from Beijing Institute for General Artificial Intelligence, and today I will introduce our recent progress on advancing multimodal large language models for 3D cell understanding, evaluation, and reasoning. Before I started to present our work, I want to showcase how multimodal language models can do. Okay, this demo is actually from Germany. Uh, so we can see that state-of-the-art multimodal large language models can communicate with humans in natural language with sophisticated understanding of images and videos. This video actually showcases that it can uh, handle complex image understanding. For example, in this frame, we can see that the model can accurately understand what is exactly in this whiteboard. However, can multimodal LLMs really understand 3D scenes like humans? Here I want to compare the difference between 2D images and 3D scenes. For 2D for a 2D image, we typically represent them with pixel grid. For example, we may split a single image into patches and then extract the feature and then encode them into image tokens. Well, for a 3D scene, we typically present a s- present a 3D scene with mesh point clouds or voxels. Then we can compare the information density between images and 3D scenes. For example, ImageNet uh, includes 1.2 million images, and uh, those images takes up about 150 G storage space. Well, for a typical 3D scene dataset such as ScanNet, it contains 1,500 scenes, and these scenes may take up about over 1 T storage space. So this means that uh, the information density of a 3D scene is much higher than a 2D image. In a 2D image, it typically includes about 5 to 10 objects. However, in a 3D scene, it may contain 20 to 100 objects. Besides, in a 2D image, it may also include fewer explicit spatial relationships between objects. And in a 3D scene, it may include hundreds of spatial relationships between objects. So we can see that the main challenges of 3D scene understandings are as follows. The first is computation cost, and the second is the complex spatial relationships, and the last one is I think is one of the unique challenges in 3D seeing is that it includes embodied reasoning, which means that when we answer a question in a 3D scene, the answer the answer actually depends on what situation is. For example, in the situation one, the spatial relationship between the cabinet and the door is that the cabinet is on the left of the door. However, when the agent is in the situation two, the spatial relationship between the door and the cabinet is maybe the cabinet is in front of the door. So this is the unique challenge in 3D scene understanding. So there are some typical 3D vision language tasks. In the left side, this is the first question answering benchmark in 3D scenario, scan QA. And in the right side, I show some 3D visual grounding benchmarks such as scan refer. And the last one is the recent embodied reasoning benchmark, OpenQA. Then a new question is, can the 2D MLLMs really understand 3D scenes? In a recent benchmark, VSI bench in CVPR 2025, it reveals that despite the powerful understanding of images and videos, current 2D MLMs significantly lag far behind humans in 3D scene understanding, especially in spatial reasoning. We can see that the right figure showcases the gap between the human level and the most powerful 2D MLLMs. We can see that in the types such as object counting and relative direction and relative distance, the 2D MLMs has a great gap between with humans. Recently, there are many 3D VL datasets. In the first row, I show some datasets for 3D visual grounding, such as scan refer, refer 3D, multi-3D refer. And in the second row, I show some typical 3D visual language datasets such as Inverse. It just give up the 3D VL grounding data and the 3D ground, and this work propose a benchmark to mitigate object hallucination in 3D scene understanding. And in the right side, I show more datasets in 3D question answering. SQA 3D is the first situated reasoning benchmark in 3D scenes. However, this datasets only includes 20,000 data instances, which are very limited for large-scale training. So we propose MSR 3D in NeurIPS 2024 to scale up this kind of training data and propose a new benchmark called Next Step Navigation to showcase the models to evaluate the model's capability of predicting the next step action. And we here in this page, I will go through the existing 3D VL models. First is the 3D Vista in ICCV 2023. It first proposed a unified 3D VL pre-training model with object-centric representation. And the second one is LLM Grounded. It proposes an LLM agent to for open vocabulary zero-shot 3D object grounding. And the 3D LLM first propose a model to leverage multi-view 2D features for 3D sound understanding. LL3DA is a model. It's a 3D language assistant with scene-level point cloud perception. And our work, Leo, first proposed the first VLE generalist agent in 3D scenes with unified instruction tuning. And Chasing proposed the 3D VL generalist model integrating Object-Centric 2D 3D feature. So can 3D VL models really generalize? We can check out the SOTA performance on SQA 3D. We can see that the performance really has a significant improvement over the 2 years. Despite the increasing performance on the existing 3D VL benchmarks, we test some models in the wind. We can see that the model just provides unexpected answers. So it shows that the 3D VL model still cannot generalize well and can even fall in some simple scenarios. For the two questions, I think they are very simple. So to develop robust 2D VL models, the first step, I think, is to construct reliable 3D VL benchmarks. So what is the problem of existing benchmarks? In this page, I showcase the list of 3D VL understanding. The first one is a flawed test data. In the first row, I show some unexpected cases in existing grounding benchmarks, ScanRefer and NR3D. We can see that there are some ambiguous text and unnatural descriptions in this benchmark. So this data may mislead the model training and also provide unreliable evaluation. In the second row, I show some unexpected cases in a QA benchmark, ScanQA. And they also have some ambiguous questions and incomplete answers. So this kind of data and benchmark may mislead the model training and evaluation. To solve this problem, in this case, I will continue to introduce the list of 3D VL understanding. So the second point is insufficient evaluation metrics. The motivation is that we find that some model may answer the question without relying on the input 3D scene. For example, we can see that even given a blind LLM, which means the multimodal LLMs may not receive the 3D scene. And we can see that in the performances are very high even without the scene. The result is on the SQA 3D benchmark. And in the figure, we show a case that the model just overfit the training data. So when he answers a question even without the 3D scene input, it may guess the answer based on the training data distribution. So how to evaluate this shortcoming? We we argue that the key solution is to design a more reasonable metric to address this shortcoming. So the question is, why do models fall in 3D question answering task? The failure is in grounding or answering. And our fundamental hypothesis is that grounding is the precondition of QA, which means that if the model needs to answer a question, it must first ground the corresponding object in the 3D scene. So we propose a grounding QA chain to annotate a reliable 3D VL benchmark. For example, given a grounding text for the smaller text box in red color beside the piano, this grounding text corresponds to the object with the gray box. Then given this grounding text, we can annotate several questions, such as the questions about the appearance, geometry, and spatial relations. Then for a 3D VL model, we will evaluate their capabilities of grounding and the questions and the question answering. With this grounding QA chain, we can also evaluate the grounding QA coherence, which means we will check if the model answers the questions with the correct grounding visual cues. And we propose two types of grounding QA coherence broken. The first, the type 1 means that the model can correctly ground the object in the scene, but it cannot correctly answer the question. The type 2 coherence broken is that the model can correctly ground the object in the 3D scene, but it cannot correctly answer the question. And we analyze the PQ3D 3D VL model to figure out if it has a strong grounding QA coherence broken. And the conclusion is that this model has a very poor grounding QA coherence. So in CAPR 2025, we propose a new benchmark to solve above shortcomings called Beacon 3D. And the highlights of this benchmark is that we have extremely high quality test data without any ambiguous text or incomplete questions. And we propose a new object-centric evaluation metric. Then we propose a new evaluation protocol to figure out the grounding QA coherence. Well, in the left side, we show the quality of our test data. We compare our data with previous benchmarks such as SQA3D and ScanQA. And the figure shows that our data has extremely high quality than previous benchmarks. And our benchmarks includes more than 800 objects across ScanX, 3R scan, and multi-scan. And our benchmark includes diverse knowledge types, including class, appearance, geometry, spatial relationship, and existence. And we also propose a novel metric called accuracy per object. In the left side, we show the typical question answering accuracy. For given three questions, if the model correctly answers 2, then the accuracy is 2 divided by 3. However, in our metric, if the model can only answer 2 questions for a specific object, but failed in a question on this object, then the score is 0. Only if all the questions are correctly answered, then the score is 1. So this metric is much more stricter than the previous metric. And here we show the results of 2 types of tasks. The left table shows the grounding performance on our benchmark. We can show that the models without LLM has a higher grounding performance. And in the second table, we show the QA results on our benchmark. And we can see that the model with LLM has higher performance. However, they are still much more perfect, and especially on the metric per object accuracy, it is all the results are extremely low. Please note that the GPT-4o is feed with the ground truth object locations and attributes. So this method achieves high performance. While other models are fed with a 3D scene point cloud. We also show the result of grounding QA coherence. We can see that all the method has poor grounding QA coherence. The dark gray bars means the perfect coherence. It means that the grounding result and the QA result are both correct for a single object and the question. And there are more metrics to evaluate the grounding QA coherence. The ratio R1 and the ratio R2. The higher of R1 means the better coherence, and the lower R2 means the better coherence. So the takeaways of this work is that we propose a novel benchmark and evaluation protocol for 3D VL grounding and QA tasks, and high quality test data and the robust object-centric metrics, and as well as chain analysis. So how to further enhance the performance of 3D VL models? And we think that we believe that the 2 directions are important. The first is the perception. If we can provide a stronger 3D representation, then I believe the performance will further be enhanced. And the second is the reasoning capabilities. It means that for the complex reasoning tasks, the model can solve the problem step by step, such as COT reasoning. So then I will introduce our recent work that leverage the COT reasoning technique to better solve the 3D VL tasks. Our recent work named SOT, eliciting chain of thought reasoning in 3D scenes. In this work, we propose a step-by-step reasoning framework to conduct scene object grounded reasoning, as well as a workflow from high-level task recognition to low-level semantic understanding. As for existing 3D LLMs, they lack of explicit visual grounding procedures, and they also lack of explainability for complex spatial reasoning. And our goal is to implement explicit visual grounding for spatial reasoning and build an explainable step-by-step reasoning framework in 3D scenes. For example, given a 3D scene and a situated question, existing 3D LLMs directly output the answer. However, for our framework, we will first recognize the question type. For example, this is a question of attribute. Then we will filter out the objects in the sub-region. For example, the model need to list out objects on its 2 o'clock. Then the model will ground the bike on its 2 o'clock from the filtered objects. Then, since this is a attribute question, so the model will retrieve the image according to the visual grounding result, then extract the image tokens. Lastly, the model will answer the question based on the visual cues constructed in previous steps. So in this page, I will show how our framework really works and how it is trained. Given a 3D scene and diverse questions, the first question is a attribute-related question, and the second is a spatial relationship-related question, and the third one is a counting-related question, and the last one is a navigation question. Then our model will first recognize this question type. After this step, we will optionally filter out the objects in a sub-region. For the first 3 questions, we will filter out the objects on the agent's right. For example, the purple boxes present the filtered objects in the sub-region. Then the model will ground the corresponding objects related to the questions. For example, the bike on my right. Given the text and the 3D scene with the object-centric features, we will predict the object probabilities, and then choose the target object from the objects in the sub-region. Lastly, we will construct the visual cues based on the question type. For the first attribute-related question, we will retrieve the image and then get the image tokens to provide the visual cues. And for the second question, it is a question of spatial relationship. We will build the visual cues that present the object semantic label and its object coordinates in the 3D under the 3D coordinate system with the XYZ and its object size. Because we need to reason about the spatial relationship between objects. For the counting-related questions, we do not care about we do not care about their accurate locations in the scene. We care about the appearance of the object. So we provide the object semantic label and the object probabilities based on the result of 3D visual grounding. For the navigation related question, we care about the relevant location of the target object under the XY plane. So we will construct the visual queue by providing the object semantic label and the object locations under the polar coordinate system. Then we will answer the questions based on the constructed visual cues. So we just showed how to finish the whole workflow. Then I will introduce how to training the model. For the loss function, our model training is fully optimized by the three types of the loss: the loss of COT, the loss of answer. The two losses are the typical casual next token prediction loss and the loss of grounding. Visual grounding is the loss to optimize the object probability prediction. And the first two losses are used to optimize our base foundation, our base MLLM Lava 1.5. And the grounding loss will only optimize our 3D visual grounding model. Then in the inference stage, the foundation model will be used to conduct image understanding and grounded reasoning, as well as the region recognition. Well, our 3D visual grounding model will be used for visual queue construction. In our previous introduction, I explained two types of visual queues with the symbolic engine. The first is object relative coordinates, and the second is object probabilities. They will be constructed by our symbolic engine and the 3D visual grounding model.
So I wanted to jump in real quick with a time check. We've got a couple of minutes left.
Okay. So here I will quickly go through the result. Our framework has the best result on MSQA benchmark and as well as Beacon 3D. In this page, I just missed the result. I can show it. Our model significantly enhanced the performance on Beacon 3D, and we had the higher performance on per object accuracy. Owing to the limited time, I will quickly go through the remaining context. Yes, we also analyze the grounding QA coherence and find that our model has the best grounding QA coherence. Since we conduct a grounded reasoning framework. To summary, we propose a a new 3D-VL benchmark, Beacon 3D, and we propose a novel step-by-step reasoning framework, Sincot, to further enhance the 3D scene understanding capabilities of multimodal large language models.